FFM setup is a glitch in Banjo Kazooie that allows you to take moves from one file and transfer them over to another file, typically a new file. This glitch is used in all full category speedruns of this game and is pretty much a requirement if you want to get into speedrunning it. Unfortunately, you have to go through the process of setting up a file to use the FFM glitch. We want to skip red feathers, gold feathers, and eggs, because when Bottles teaches them to you in the run, he gives you the refills, and if you already know them, you don't get the refills. So we want to have those not learned, so that we can get the refills during the speedrun when we learn them normally. And that's what makes FFM setup so difficult to do, and difficult for new runners especially. I have 3 files on here. I actually just bought this cartridge today. You want to set up your FFM on file 2, ideally. So file 3 actually has loading times that are a little bit faster apparently. I haven't tested this myself, but it seems to be the file that everyone runs on. So that's the one you want to use for runs. You want to have file 1 for practice and file 2 for your FFM file. So I'll just start up the intro story. If you've got a clean cart completely, you'll have to watch this whole story. Otherwise you can skip it by holding start anytime after the screen goes black. So the idea of FFM setup is we want to get up to Furnace Fun and not have learned eggs, flying, or gold feathers. In any percent you can learn eggs, and that makes it considerably easier to set up FFM for any percent. However, any percent is a PAL only category, so most people will be playing on NTSC if they live in the US or Japan, and PAL if they live in Europe. Most people run 100%, and that FFM setup requires not learning eggs, red feathers, or gold feathers. So we'll need to get 765 notes to open the note door to get to Furnace Fun. And unfortunately you can't just use cheats to open it, because you need eggs to poop eggs into Leaky and enter the cheats. So you do have to get all those notes. I'll be doing more of a commentated playthrough now, as I have to set up an FFM file rather than a full-on tutorial, but hopefully this can help you out if you're having trouble with it at all. I'll be playing on the PAL version, as that's the region that I live in, and I use PAL for my speedruns. But I won't use any PAL exclusive tricks, so this should be viable for NTSC as well. If you have PAL, you can use that for most categories, including 100%. It is a little bit faster for 100% using reverse B adventure. However, most people run it on NTSC, and it does have more satisfying movement on NTSC. I'm going to put up a few notes on the side as we're going along, just to keep track of everything. So I'm going to do basically everything you possibly can do and getting almost all 900 notes, but you only need 765. I actually like having 810 notes so that I can practice Door of Grunty skip for any percent. However, you don't need to get 810 notes, and you don't need to do Door of Grunty skip in 100%. So if you just want to run 100%, you only need 765. Basically, there are 3 options that you can do for getting those 765 notes. You can't get them all easily within the levels. So you either will have to do Jinxie Clip in Gobi's Valley, or you'll have to open Click Clock Wood, or there's a really hard strat where you can get up to the top of Treasure Trove Cove without knowing how to fly. I'm going to do all 3 in this tutorial, but I would recommend Jinxie Clip. And if you want 810 notes, I would recommend opening Click Clock Wood as well. Technically you can also do RBA to get a little bit more notes, but that's a lot harder on NTSC, so I won't show that in this tutorial. And I'll also write up the totals of what I get in every level as I'm doing it. and I'll get all the mumbo tokens I know about and all the notes and jiggies that I can possibly get. As for honeycombs, you want to not get empty honeycombs. So you'll have 5 health for the whole setup and 5 health in your FFM file. You are allowed to get more honeycombs, and you can do that if you absolutely have to. But to set up FFM, what you're going to have to do is die in Furnace Fun in a minigame. And in that, when you die in the minigame, it just takes a little bit more time if you have more than 5 health. So you'll lose that little bit of time every time you set up FFM when you start a run. So it's kind of inconvenient. If you want to just go and not learn eggs, flying or gold feathers and just try and get through as much of the game as possible, I would recommend that. I shouldn't think you'd need a whole video tutorial to do this, but it'll be here if you need it. So just standard stuff. Getting through here now. Now you'll notice I didn't get any of the honeycombs. One thing that I really would recommend with FFM, and I actually should have written this up earlier, is when you do Gobi's Valley, do not fill the moat full of water, because even though you don't know flying, it still lets you use the fly pads inside the moat. So there are some fly pads in this game that still let you use flying if you don't know the move, and that's one of them. So that's very important because you can get a couple of jiggies from, well, you can get 1 jiggy and I guess notes from the fly pad there. This is probably the most important thing, and once you know that and you know you have to open Click Clock Wood or do Jinxie Clip, then you can fill in the rest. I'm also not going to be using a route for this, just kind of doing what I think would be fast to get through the levels. So this is probably by far not the fastest way to get through these levels, but you don't have to go fast for FFM setup, you just have to do it once. Now, if you're playing on NTSC, there's a chance that you could have version 1.1. In version 1.1, you can't do termite skip. So, I don't know anybody who speedruns using version 1.1 because you would lose roughly a minute. I would definitely recommend version 1.0 if you're running on NTSC, and if you're on PAL, it shouldn't make a difference because you can do termite skip on all PAL versions, because there's only one version. And also if you're on Xbox, the FFM setup is a little bit different. So I think they don't learn flying. No, they do learn flying, sorry. And they don't get the refills during the run because they've learned it in the FFM file. And that's because you can't skip as much text on Xbox. So they need to not learn it, otherwise it just wastes a lot of time. You'll notice that I didn't talk to Bottles there. That's because you're not supposed to learn eggs in this category. So I won't be able to get this Conga Jiggy because of that. If you're playing on Xbox, you also won't be able to do termite skip, but the FFM setup should be easier because you get to learn flying in the FFM setup file. And I'm not sure about eggs. You'll have to watch a run of somebody playing on Xbox for that. But regardless of what version you're on, 1.0 or 1, if you're on version 1.1, sorry, then you'll just have to get an extra 5 Mumbo tokens in this setup and transform into the termite in Mumbo's Mountain. I forgot to go in there. So this is termite skip. I won't go too into detail about this, but I guess you're supposed to be slipping down here. But there's like 1 second while you're over the slope before you slip down. If you slip down instantly, then you're either playing on Xbox or you have version 1.1 and you can't do it. But if there's a little delay, then you're on either PAL or NTSC version 1.0. But you should be speedrunning on a version that can do this. Just Talon Trot up or Flutter, whatever's more comfortable. Although ideally you want to practice Talon Trotting for if you're in a run. If you're on PAL you can do that, but it's a little bit slower. If you're on NTSC that won't work. Ah. I forgot I don't have eggs. And it's very important to not learn flying or eggs, because if you accidentally do, then you're going to have to start the file again. If you do accidentally learn them, then and you haven't gone through another loading zone yet, then you can reset it. So the game only saves when you go through loading zones. So if I reset now, I would only have 64 notes, and I wouldn't have those 4 that I just collected. But if I reset now, then I would have 68. So if you do accidentally learn a move, you can reset and it won't have saved. But then you'll have to do that level again that you'd just done. And we don't want this honeycomb. So I'm going to be keeping totals down the side as I do it. I'll be getting as many Mumbo tokens as I possibly can. So that was the last part of Termite Skip. You can see Smasher 32's tutorials for all that. And I think Stivity Bobo did one on that specific trick. So a lot of these tricks I won't be explaining, but Smasher 32's tutorial for 100%, while the route doesn't use FFM and it's a little bit old, it's still a good tutorial to learn tricks from. And you can't open clankers yet because you don't have shock spring. Normally you would have a shock spring in the run there and not have to come back into the room. But that's alright. So I won't be able to poop eggs into leaky, so I'm just going to do the sandcastle now without lowering the water. So unfortunately we can't get that jiggy and we can't enter cheats. Otherwise FFM setup will be a lot easier. When you're doing runs with that part, with the lockup, it's good to have a note count as well, so you don't have to listen to 5 noises, you can just watch for when the number reaches what it's supposed to be. I think it's 91 in 100%. And we don't have flying, so we can't do anything off there yet. Now this is the first big trick with FFM setup. You absolutely do not have to do this, but I'm going to show it off for completeness, and it'll probably take me a little while to get it. I have a tutorial on this specific trick, so I'm not going to explain it too much. But it's here if you desperately need another jiggy or some notes or something. Just to repeat, you do not have to do this trick to set up an FFM file, but you can if you want. Hey VDA. Now, I have to set up an FFM file because I bought a new cartridge, so I thought I might as well make it a tutorial, so it's there for anyone who needs a little bit of help setting it up. But I'm showing this trick off for completeness. Ah. It'll slot to my good joystick actually. That might help. Ah, lame. Alright, there we go. So, you can probably see why that's not recommended, but it is there if you really need to do it. And if you're going to do this, make sure you learn shock spring before you do that skip. Because that would be very bad if you did that whole thing and then you realised that you didn't know shock spring. The reason Gobi clip is more recommended is because you use it in 100% anyway, so you might as well learn it when you're doing your FFM setup. But I'm not 100% sure if it's used in no RBA. Grab that note. There's a little silly thing. You can't get that lock-up jiggy, but I do have a theory on how you might be able to get the lock-up jiggy. I'm not sure if it'll work or not though. I thought perhaps if you clip out here. And then if you flutter across, I don't know, you might be able to make it to the lockup, but who knows. Could be a thing, but you don't really need that jiggy anyway. I don't know if it's possible or not to get it like that. So that whole lighthouse section, you do not have to do that if you want to set up an FFM file, but it's there if you absolutely need it. Okay. Better get this Mumbo token for completeness. We won't be needing any feathers, that's for sure. Alright, so normally you just fly to this jiggy, but we don't have flying. The other thing that makes this setup so hard is being on 5 health at the whole time. While it is tempting to get more, you'll probably regret it in the long run. And you'll want to set up the FFM file again eventually anyway, if you've done it with more than 5 health, so yeah. Ah, alright, ignore the fact that I got that honeycomb. That was dumb. You're not supposed to get honeycombs in FFM setup. But as long as I haven't got 6, it's okay. Yeah, don't get any empty honeycombs. A lot of people like to mash for nipper skip, but I prefer to just tap the buttons. Like, you do one, and then you wait for as long as it was till I did the first hit there, and then you tap A then B really quickly, and then you wait a little bit more and tap A and B. So a lot of people like to mash A and B, but I don't like that method. You don't grab the honeycombs because to set up FFM every time you have to die in a minigame, and it would take just slightly longer if you had to lose 6 health instead of 5, for example. So you just get 5 health to make it quicker triggering FFM each time. Ah. You don't have to do that jump, you can just shock spring up there. But if you want to do 100%, it's probably a good idea to learn it. However, it's a lot more difficult on PAL. Is that nipper skip video? Yeah, I'm not sure about nipper skip on Xbox, so I can't remember if Shadow Worm gets it or not, or Pixel or any of the Xbox crew. I forgot to grab the Jinjo up at the lighthouse. I'm not going to get that jiggy, but I'll add it on the totals as if I got it though, to show that you can get 10 jiggies. Oh, not 10, but 9, I guess. Make sure you don't land flying. Very important. I probably just took a while to look at that video. It's no worries. If you're running any percent, there's a fancy little thing you can do here. After the last note, you can slide off and exit talent shot and you won't take full damage. But in 100% you just jump straight to the lockup. You normally want to shoot this with eggs, but we don't have eggs. Alright, Jinjo, Sandcastle. What other jiggies can I get? I feel like I've missed a jiggy somewhere. You get Jinjo, got the one on the lighthouse. Oh yeah, lock up. Okay. So I got one more jiggy than I could have. And I missed one jiggy. So how many was that? I had 7. You can get 8. So 6 to 8. How many jiggies are up on the lighthouse? I think there's 9. How many Mumbo tokens did I get? I got 10. Lots of Mumbo tokens in that level. How many number tokens have I got now? 15. Alright. And you won't be able to get that witch switch jiggy if you didn't do the lighthouse thing. Okay. So you can see how many more jiggies it gets you if you do the lighthouse skip. That's why it pays off well. But it is pretty hard. Because it's like 3 more jiggies that you can get and 9 more notes. Ah. It's important to tag this cauldron for later. Because when you come back from activating the Click Clockwood puzzle, then you tag that cauldron to warp around the lair. It's a lot faster than walking back. Yeah, with Nipper Skip video, you just get in talent shot and you run off from the top at full speed, and then you jump inside of him. I don't think you have to do this, but I like to flick my joystick back when I peck. You peck him, and then you peck him, and then you peck him. But I remember it being a little bit harder on Xbox, so it could be different. Alright. Didn't you get into talent shot there? So I would actually like to learn Gold Feathers right now, but you can't because you don't know flying, and you need flying to get to where Bubbles is. Even using something like RBA, you can't learn Gold Feathers. Because you can get there with the bee, but he just doesn't talk to you. So Gold Feathers, you just can't learn them without learning flying. But it would be good, because you can grab 10 Gold Feathers pretty easily. Like, there's 2 just there, and there'd be more. There's 5 around where you learn them. We won't be able to get his tooth jiggy because we don't have eggs. But I'll go in there and grab the notes. I fluffed around at the start, so my gloop's going to be in a weird spot. When you're doing runs of this, gloop starts his cycle as soon as you enter the level, so it's really important to be consistent and keep an eye on him. Yeah, I don't like doing the conga jiggy. It's not a good jiggy. I have a sort of a setup for conga jiggy though. What I do is I stand right in the corner and I line up his nose so that it's Banjo's nose, so that it's sort of lined up with the edge of the platform. But that doesn't work all the time. So usually in a run you'd only need 2 bubbles from Gloop if you grab everything, but I grabbed 3 just to be safe, and because I messed up the cycle at the start, so I have no idea where he was going to be. I can't shoot his tooth out because I've got no eggs, so I'm going to go straight into the bolt. It's a good idea to get out of Talon Trot before going into that bolt, because you want to ground pound when you enter there. I'll probably miss it in my runs over here. Alright, so this is what I mean. Like, we want to get gold feathers here, but we'd have to fly over there, and there's no other way to get up there. So unfortunately we can't get them if we don't get flying. And those 25 feathers from flying are so important that we just get gold feathers as well. And we get a refill too, which is nice. I could have shot out the tooth to get into here, but this way I only have 1 trip into this bit. Let's see. How you can get this Mumbo token. Actually, I couldn't have shot out that tooth, ignore me. But you want to get in here to get these notes. You can kind of roll up to that note and then high jump, and then you can grab the Mumbo token like that. If you need a bit of extra height, you can ground pound because it gives you height there. And unfortunately the same trick doesn't work for the jiggy, because that doesn't spawn at all until you break the tooth. I like to surface there because fluttering over the water is quicker. I don't even know what route I'm even doing. Forget about those 2 notes over there as well. I'll have to go and get those too. So I'm not going to die here because I haven't gotten everything yet. And once again, don't grab the honeycomb. This is a very unoptimal route through clinkers, but I want to take a moment to talk about bolt jump after, because that wasn't covered in Smash's tutorial. Even though this is a weird spot to put it, I think I might as well. So when Banjo jumps off something in Talon Trot, you can't flutter out of Talon Trot in Banjo Kazooie. But after a little while we go into a falling animation, and you can sort of hear him go "what-oh" and then start falling. And as soon as he starts that, then you can flutter out of it. I'll show it here. See how I can flutter there? So that's the trick behind bolt jump. And that's used in 100%. And I think I might as well show off my strat for it. A lot of people like to mash, but the issue with mashing is if you don't hold if you don't hold the flutter, it falls down faster. But if you hold it, then it doesn't. So you gotta hold A. So I like to time it and then hold A. You lined up. I probably miss it because it's still a hard trick, but you jump off. You wait for 3 flaps and then you ground pound. But yeah, don't mash, because mashing won't work. Well, it can work, but it's not good. Alright, and those other 6 notes are in the gold feather room. However many jiggies I've got. 8. So there's 1 for his tooth and 1 for the gold feather room. So that's 8 jiggies, 94 notes, and 4 Mambo tokens. Here's another trick you can do. Kind of depends on where the water is though. I think they still use that in no RBA. These do 2 damage, so if you ever see them, they're good for taking damage on. How many Mambo tokens? 4. And I did hit the witch switch, but we're not going to get it yet. Alright, so we're going to have to do something gross and open Bubble Gloop Swamp. Try not to have that happen. I'm really not great at this bit of movement because I never do it in any of my categories. Not even 100%. Hey, how's it going? And you should surface here because fluttering is quicker than swimming under the water. I've probably been streaming for about half an hour now, probably a bit more actually. I've got a backup cart, well, kind of a replacement cart that came in the mail today. So I have to set up an FFM file on it, and I thought I might as well make it a tutorial so that it's there for people if they need it. Unfortunately, we have to open for CC Peak because we don't have Peak Bomb to get in there, and you'd normally open it in 100% anyway. Just use the slope manipulation to get across here. As long as you're not over a slope for more than a second, you won't fall down. Over a slope includes being in the air over it. Who would open FP? Yeah. Can't get Croctus because of eggs. Oh, nothing good up there anyway. I thought there might have been a Mumbo token. I'm going to end up with way too many Mumbo tokens, but at least this shows where they all are. Right now I could stop collecting Mumbo tokens and still set up my FFM file, because I only need 20. I'm going to play it safe and wait for that. You can make the jump to that pole without hitting the swamp water, but it is possible that you don't, so I'm going to play it safe. There would normally be a Croctus there, but no eggs. These are a bit harder without gold feathers. If you want, you can leave them till last and then do them then, so you don't have to worry about dying. They're still possible without gold feathers for sure. That works. Oh, camera flip. You can make this jump here, but it's a lot harder. I'm gonna break this one so I can get the Mumbo token there. I think I will transform into the Croc, just for completeness again. I can't remember if you actually have to or not, but I'd imagine you do. You want all the jiggies you can get. If you don't want to transform into the Croc, you can still get the Jinjo Jiggy like this. Because that Jinjo would be what was stopping you from getting the Jinjo Jiggy without transforming, but you can just do that. It's fine. Then I just stream at the most convenient times. I went the wrong way. You can move in that cutscene though. When I run 100%, I use that time to grab the honeycomb instead. A lot of people like to write this pattern down, so you can do that if you'd like to. Mainly the last one people write down. Dark blue, light blue, red, purple, red, yellow. Talent Shot there is actually a bad idea, because you don't want to grab jiggies in Talent Shot. But you can peck out of it anyway. Oh. That's weird. How good's that camera though? I'm not used to doing it with the camera that way. That's so weird. I just got this cart today off of eBay, and it had all these files on there that had like 35 hours on them and only 60 Gs or something. So many casuals. One of them had like an hour and 20 minutes in Spiral Mountain, and it hadn't got all of the honeycombs yet. I'm not going to judge though. Her. Make sure you don't skip this text, because if you skip it with LRB, then he gets mad and doesn't verse you. Oh crap, I don't have running shoes. Alright, this is going to be harder then. While without running shoes. Good thing is though he rubber bands, so should be alright. When you do speedruns of this, because you use FFM, you'll already have the running shoes, so you'll actually get to do Mr. Vile with running shoes without coming back. But, yeah. If you can't do Mr. Vile without running shoes, then you can always come back after you've got them and verse him then. But it's certainly possible without it. They used to have to do it in speedruns before FFM. Whether or not it's red or yellow swaps pretty much exactly every 10 seconds, so you'll know to stop going for them when the time is about to change to a multiple of 10. Like there, which I should have changed. Oh no, it was alright. And it's good to stay in front of Vile, grab the ones that he's about to grab. Yeah, that's bound to happen if you try and do it without running shoes. Just let him bite you. Come on. Salt's a better controller, I think. Oh. Alright, if I don't get it this time, I'll just not get this jiggy. So you can run away from him before he bites you. But if you do that, then you would have to start all 3 rounds again. So I'm just going to skip that one. Yeah, Mr. Lyle's dumb. Don't blame me for not being able to beat him. I don't run 100%. Yeah. Alright. Plus, usually we get running shoes to beat him anyway. I've done it without him before, but I guess today just wasn't my day for it. So you could jump up onto a hat there, which is what you're supposed to do in a 100% run. But that's also fun. You can just jump straight up onto a hat and jump into the hole there. You don't have to clip through the neck like that. Plus that clip is harder on NTSC, I think. Sure, why not? Don't you know I'm bad at all the parts in Banjo that aren't in any percent? Alright, now here's the best part of the design of this game. We need to move from Frazizi Peak to do Gobies, and we need to move from Gobies to do Frazizi Peak. Isn't that just great? So you need Beak Bomb from Frazizi Peak, and you need Running Shoes from Gobies. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to do all of Frazizi Peak now and just not get the Boggy Jiggy. But I'm going to write in as if I got the Boggy Jiggy just for max %. And then I just won't end up getting it. Also because I want to be able to do Boggy Races, the B on this cart, and that's fun. You don't have to Talon Trot in there because you're out of here anyway. I could do Twinklies there, but there's not really much point because you'd have to fly through the star and I don't have flying. I also don't know why I climbed to the top there. That was dumb. "12 notes, 12 days of Christmas." Alright. Let me think. Nice little Mumbo token under here. That's handy to remember. Now this is very, 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 very important. Make sure that you learn Beak Bomb. Because you won't be able to check it because you don't have flying. Just make sure that you do. To learn a move in Talon Trot, all you have to do is click the button to go into Talon Trot and then press B as you're going into it. And that'll work. It's a minor optimization, but it does save a little bit of time. You don't use it as much now that we have FFM there. You do use it when you learn eggs and when you learn gold feathers in the run. This level's gonna... We're not gonna be able to get too much in this level because a lot of it is flying based. Yeah, that's one of the things I like about Kazooie is that you don't have to travel in between the levels or anything. But I guess, like, that makes it better for a speedrun and for routing and everything, but casually it is a good feature that you can travel in between levels in Tooie. Keeps it interesting. So if you need any more health here, you can just do that. Or you can do this. But I prefer ground pounding them. Anyway, we'll get the walrus. Might as well get the other stuff while we're here. If you don't want to get those notes as Banjo, you can get them as a walrus. That's probably a better idea. I just like getting them as a walrus, as Banjo, sorry. Yeah, I would recommend to new people ground pounding for that snowball rather than bear punching it rather than ground pounding it. But for me, if you bear punch too early, it can hit you on the back of the head and kill you. So that's why I ground pound, just in case. But it's definitely easier to learn the bear punch method, I found. You don't have to grab all this stuff in the races, but if you're doing 100%, you might as well learn it now. It's quite handy because you can grab like Mumbo tokens that were under the snowman. Also, I don't think you have to transform into the walrus. I think you can skip it, but I'm not 100% sure. If you're unsure about it, just like do the thing, do the game, and then if you don't have enough jiggies, you can go back and do the walrus or the prop stuff. I think bear punching and ground pounding are roughly even in time. Oh. Yeah. The bear punch is fine, just as long as you don't do it too early. But I didn't know about bear punch when I learnt about it, so I already knew how to time the ground pound. So there was no point for me to change. But yeah, new runners try bear punch. But you don't have to do it in 100% anyway, so... Only if you're learning any percent. Which is obviously the better category. I'm going really far out of my way here just to get one Jinjo. But I want to show off everything that you can get. Alright, I think that's the 5th jiggy maybe? Yeah. Okay, so what couldn't we get? We couldn't get buttons, snowmen, Christmas tree, Banjo's second race. There's one more jiggy I can get actually. I forgot about it. Alright. Now, if I wanted to, I could go to Gobi's, which I will do. And after I've done Gobi's, come back with the running shoes and do Banjo's boggy race. But we'll leave it just there. And if you have to, you can come back and do that. Boggy will still be there. 92... 6 something. I lost track of how many Mumbo tokens I started with. I think I had 19 maybe? No, maybe I had 21. What's that? 5 plus 10 plus 4 plus 10. 29 plus 2 in the lair, 3 in the lair. 32, 22, minus 15, 22, minus 15, 7, 9 Mumbo tokens I guess I got. And that's the first time we can't get a witch switch because you need flying to make it there. So that sucks. Oh well. And the 8 notes that we couldn't get were on top of the hat. Technically you can still get more notes than I'm getting now if you did RVA and came back and got a bunch of notes. But at that point there's not really any point, because if you've got the B out you can basically get into as many levels as you need to. I can do Mad Monster Mansion now just to save an extra trip into this room. Oh, actually no I won't, because I don't know. Yeah, no, I'll do Mad Monster Mansion now, I think. And I need running shoes to get into the church, but I can probably get in there without them. Yeah, I haven't even opened it, man. What am I thinking? I guess I won't do it now. I could go and open it now because I have 450 notes, but I've already been in here anyway. I might as well do Gobi's. How many did I say in FP that you could get? Did I get that right? 6, but you can actually get 7 in FP if you do the buggy race. Fun fact, this room actually runs at 1/3 of whatever frames per second. So on NTSC it runs at 20 frames per second, and on PAL it runs at like 1/3 of 50. So that's why the menus were really slow there when I paused. Now, it wouldn't seem like it, but we'll actually be able to get a lot of stuff in Gobi's Valley. And the reason for that is we can fly in this level, because they didn't disable the fly pads in the moat if you don't know flying. So that will come in very handy. Now what I got coming up here is Gobi clip, or Jinxie clip is probably more descriptive. Since I'm on PAL, I'm actually going to have to use a different setup. But if you watch Smasher32's Advanced Tricks tutorial, he talks about the NTSC setup. If you're lucky enough to be playing on PAL, what you do is you just get here on the line and you sort of peck close to the ground, pop through and go to the door. So you don't have to do Gobi clip, but it is very, very, very recommended, because you have to learn it for 100% if you're running that anyway. If you're doing any percent, then first of all, you're going to get eggs in FFM set up, and you can shoot eggs into the nose, and you don't even need to do Gobi clip in any percent as Ben. Well, you don't need to do Gobi clip in 80%. So if you're running 100%, I would recommend learning Gobi clip, then doing it here. It is harder because you've only got 5 health, but it's certainly possible. And I won't be able to get any further up here because I don't have eggs. If you're losing 2 minutes in a run to Gobi clip, you might as well just shoot the eggs. So I like to flip my camera once when I walk a little bit out of the door, and then again a little bit later. Most people will leave it there, but I also like to zoom in around here. And that's so that you can jump onto this ring. You want to do that for 100%, so it's good to learn it now as well. There's a ring that pops up here, and it's kind of tricky to get, but you can do like a slope manipulation thing, similar to Tikka's Tower or that TTC thing earlier. And then you could jump to the ring like that. So if a ring pops up there, that's another way to get one. Or you could just grab them all in flying, really. I don't have eggs here, so I can't do this bit yet. Well, I can't do that bit ever in the FFM setup. And I don't need to get any honeycombs, so I won't trigger that. Yeah, so the most important thing with this level is use the fly pads in the moat before you fill it with water. Wow. Okay, that's frame perfect. If you hit an enemy and a jiggy at the same time, skip the dance. So don't go for that in runs. So it's pretty important that we've done Frazisi Peak now, because we need Beak Bomb for this level. And even though... What am I trying to say? Even though we don't know flying, you can still learn Beak Bomb. And even though we don't know flying, these pads inside this moat still work, so we can fly. That's the ring I was talking about earlier. And I really hate this Beak Bomb to Gobi. Not Gobi, Grabber. My least favourite part. So if you don't get that, I'm going to have to learn running shoes anyway. But if you don't get that, you can just try it again or do it normally or something. That was use of slope manipulation there again. I won't embarrass myself by trying and grab a Beak Bomb again, because I need to practice that. But it's not an any %, so that's why I'm bad at it. And if you don't want to use running shoes, you can use like a slope manipulation thing here and then peck out and get it. But that's pretty inconsistent, so I don't use it in runs, and kind of by extension I didn't use it here. That's a pretty fast way to get down. Hey dude, how's it going? And that's why we needed Beak Bomb from FP. So that one switch is the reason why routing this game before FFM was so annoying. Yeah. Well, I guess the runners would do the slope backup strat, but I haven't done enough 100% to really know what to do if I miss it. Alright, with this ring, you want to, this line that I'm standing on here, just follow that down, walk all the way down, and you'll get on the ring. Alright, that's the last ring I'm gonna get. There's another one that you can get, but it's after you filled the moat, and I don't want to fill the moat yet. So there's another ring you can get, and I'll just demonstrate how you might get it. You come out of here, grab all these notes in the 100% route, then you come up here and do the same thing again, walk down this line, and then grab the ring. But I'm just going to finish that jiggy off normally. See if I can Beak Bomb that Mumbo token. No. So I'll show the slope thing. This is kind of annoying though, because if you miss it, you fall all the way down. Just note that you can't use the fly pad on the back of Jinxie either. So it's only those ones in the moat. Probably because they didn't want to make it awful on you for some reason. You didn't know fly and you got stuck in the moat. There's some other fly pads that were like that too though. Better free Gobi. Okay. Now I'm pretty sure we've done everything we can with flying in this level, so I'm going to empty the water. So the main thing is rings if you can't do it, and getting into rubies. Rubies is the most important part, because that's like 8 nodes and a Mumbo token there. I've been grabbing gingers as well, but I just realised there's one in the maze, so I won't be able to get the ginger jiggy. Do a quick dive. Or not. I think it works better off the other side. So this is why you want to do this mode last, because obviously I can't use the fly pads now because they're underwater. So you'd be screwed if you fill this up first. And 91 notes. I think that's the most you can get. There's like 2 in Jinxie that I didn't get, and I guess 7 in the maze sounds about right. We didn't hit the witch switch in the maze, but we don't need to, because you can clip through the coffin, sort of. So 5 jiggies out of 10. We didn't get the Jinxie jiggy, or the maze jiggy, or the Jinjo jiggy. Still gotta get the Gobi jiggy. And we didn't get Rubees jiggy, like the snake charmer one. So it'll be 6 out of 10 now. Alright. So... menu scrolls so slow in this room. This won't come as a surprise to you if you've seen any Banjo speedrun 100% before. But You can kind of make your model go through this coffin a bit. So what you can do is just roll into that. I think on Xbox there's a way to get it. I can't remember exactly what that way is. And there's a Mumbo token behind there too. That's probably not faster, but it looks cool. Alright, so you can really see where the jiggies are starting to get really tight. I've only got 6 jiggies left, and it's going to take 12 to open Rusty Bucket Bay and 15 to open Click Lockwood. So if I want to open both of those, I need another, I guess, 21 Gs. So it'll be almost 100% for Mad Monster Mansion in Rusty Bucket Bay. And that's the reason why FFM setup is so tight, and why they recommend doing Jinxie Clip in Gobi's Valley. Because I don't need to open Click Lockwood, but if I wanted to, I could. And I am going to in this tutorial. Partially because I want 810 notes so that I can practice any percent, and partially just for completeness to show that it can be done. Alright, very, very, very important to break this gate. In runs, when you do it with eggs, stand basically anywhere on this light bit of ground at the peak and then fire 2 eggs. But we don't have eggs. If you're ever short on health, you can also find a Brentilda and talk to her throughout the lair. That's a pretty good way to restore health. And you get some of your pattern number too. But each Brentilda will only restore your health once, so you do have to be careful with it. Alright. This route should be fairly similar to the FFM route through Mad Monster Mansion. So I'm going to just do that, and if I run into any issues, I'll deal with them. There's a Mumbo token in there as well, but that Mumbo token in this barrel is actually tied to the one inside Logo. So instead of grabbing it now, I'm going to grab it inside Logo. I think it's a little bit quicker to grab it in the cellar, but I'm not sure. I like grabbing it in Logo. In my runs, I grab it in the cellar though. Oops, messed that up. That bat can be a pain, so if you need to kill it, just kill it. If you're on Xbox, this trick won't work. There's a fancy little skip you can do, but you don't go for it in runs because it's too risky. Nah, didn't get it. If you can take off in flight and grab the jiggy at the same time, it skips the jig, but don't go for it in runs because it's terribly inconsistent. And this is one of those flight pads that you can use without knowing fly. In a run, when you get into talon trot after grabbing this jiggy, don't jump straight away, because if you jump it'll make you fly, even if you're in talon trot. Here you have a choice. You could go back out of the maze, or you could do a beehive jump. It's not that bad. What you got to try and do is jump when he's up, like jump predicting to land on him when he's up, like that. And it would be tempting to do a safe strat here and kind of like jump across and then try and jump up, but don't do that because it's hard. In any percent, I like to jump across to that one and then jump across. Like that. But in 100%, instead of doing that, because you're not going the same way in those two categories, so in 100%, it's best to just do that. You do take the damage, but it puts you where you want to be. And since we don't have eggs, we can't get the pot jiggy. I'm gonna leave. I'm gonna get health and then do tumbler. What movement is that video? Honeycomb percent. Please don't call it honeycomb percent. Now here's something. There's a Mumbo token inside this, and normally you can get it with gold feathers, but you don't have gold feathers. You can get it by skipping this Jinjo jig, and to skip the Jinjo jiggy jump off. I like to wait because the jiggy makes the sound. It goes doo 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 doo, and on the 6th sound that it makes, that's when I jump. Maybe a little bit after that actually. And then I jump into the vine. It doesn't matter if you miss this Mumbo token. I mean, there's plenty of Mumbo tokens around, but it's there if you want it. And it's good to get it 100%. I went to jump too late there, so I didn't actually jump at all. But that's alright. And if you manage to jump off, you fall in the water, and since you're in the water, you don't do a dance. So it does save a bit of time. I'm going to try and get to this church without running shoes, so if you accidentally come in here before you do Gobies or something. Now normally there wouldn't be enough time to make it to the church, but if you keep constantly pausing and unpausing, it actually stalls the timer a bit. That should be enough time. I realised I forgot to get out my moat cheat sheet. There it is. Now this is going to be really annoying without gold feathers, so just gotta deal with it. Using talent shot to get up from the arm to the back is really helpful. And if you need health, there is health back here. And there's some on the other side too. Oh, I heard nothing wrong. So you can actually do this all before he plays it, as long as you know the pattern. And all the notes are within 1 octave, so you don't have to write down what octave it's in, you just write down what note it is. And I think on the Discord there's a picture of it. I think this is another one of those fly pads you can just use, yeah. So it's almost like once they got this late into the game, they just stopped checking whether or not you have fly. Except unfortunately the fly pad in the very last boss, the grunty fight, you actually can't use that if you don't know how to fly. So you can't beat the game without flying. And get the honeycomb, we don't need it. Ground pound recoil down, except that I forgot the notes, so I'll get those. Yeah, talent trotting up to that bit from the arm really helps getting past those ghosts. Ah, thanks for mentioning that video. So apparently the pausing to delay the timer doesn't work on Xbox. I think, do you know what they get on Xbox for FFM setup? Because I'm not sure. I know they don't get flying in FFM, but I'm not sure about eggs. If you want to do that ground pound to the jiggy, you wait till he's above the weather vane and then you can do it. And to get onto this church roof without taking damage, if you jump from up here you'll take damage, but if you jump from down here you won't. So you can jump straight to that note. It'll be fine every time. The only thing that can go wrong is if you land on a lower bit of the roof like that. So I've done almost every transformation and I've still got 17 left. The bee costs 25. And I don't even need to be the bee, because once you get to Click Lockwood you don't need jiggies anymore, so I don't need the honeycomb there either. So there's no point in me transforming into the bee. I'll still grab all the Mumbo tokens I can though, just in case you haven't done for ZZP or Gobies or something at this point. There's Jiggy there, and since I didn't get that Mumbo token in the cellar, there's one there. But in a run, you get the Mumbo token in the cellar. Let's go jump around this gate here. It's not quite as bad as it looks. But it's still kind of annoying. You don't have to do it 90%. And it was kind of a recent find that it's quicker to do the well as the pumpkin. I'm not sure if World Record does that or not. I'm pretty sure World Record does it as Banjo. And at that point in time now, it's like a 2:04:30ish Stivity Bobo. This is 100%. So if you're learning the route for 100%, Steve's Run is a great reference. But for Mad Monster Mansion, you want to use the pumpkin route. Either watching a newer run, or asking about it on the Discord will help. 27 minus 27, 14. So we can almost get everything in MMM. The only thing we can't get is the pots, because you need eggs for that. Okay, thanks for letting me know, video. So in Xbox FFM setup, you just get all the moves. So basically, just do a casual run and don't finish Furnace Fun. Ah, cool, I got the glitch. So there's a glitch there where you can ground pound the lid and it'll ground pound the switch as well. And that's kind of rare and we don't know the cause of it. I think it's a bit more likely to happen on PAL there. And after this it's just quicker to reset rather than transform back and walk back and then transform back a million times. So you just reset here. It is actually a little bit quicker not to reset, but since you need the Witch Switch key from Clanker's Cabin, and you go straight through that room when you reset, that makes it quicker for 100% and any percent where you do grab that jiggy. But yeah, in Sandcastle percent where you don't grab that jiggy, just don't bother resetting. In Sandcastle percent it's quicker to walk back. Sandcastle percent is any percent with cheats, by the way. So I get the jiggy now. Normally you'd use the pink cauldron here, but since I didn't have eggs I couldn't trigger it from the other side, so I'm going to have to walk back up. But there is something else down here. It's a Mumbo token. So that's pretty far out of the way, but if you need another one, there it is. The other possible reason you could need 25 Mumbo tokens is if you're using RBA to get the extra bit of notes. If you want to use RBA, the way that you would do that is you would get to this point, then instead of opening Rusty Bucket Bay now, you'd open Click Clock Wood, then do Click Clock Wood, but then come out as a bee and then use the bee to get into Rusty Bucket Bay. And that would use a glitch called Reverse Bee Adventure. And that glitch is a lot easier on PAL. It is possible on NTSC though, so if something's gone horribly wrong, then you can do it on NTSC, but you'll need to make sure you don't have both the cauldrons triggered. And I won't be doing it in this tutorial. I have a highlight on my Twitch that is an NTSC run of Sandcastle percent, and it uses RVA, but it takes me like 19 minutes to get it in that run because it is hard on NTSC, and it's a completely different method as well. For this jump you can peck up, but I like to high jump, and then kind of depending on where your shadow is depends on what I do here. So I'm about in the middle, so I want to like kind of do a quick trot and then jump, and if you jump you should still make it, but a quick trot you'll definitely make it. And then if you're more towards the front, see I'm towards the back now, so trot, jump. And then if I'm like really towards the front, then I should be able to just jump. It's more about your peck timing than it is about your jump timing. So 11 Rusty Bucket. And we're going to need another 11 jiggies to open Click Clock Wood. So you can really see how tight the jiggies are in there. I can't remember. So I could have got the Boggy Race jiggy. And I could have got the Jinjo jiggy in Treasure Trove Cove. And I could have got Mr. Vile. So you can get enough jiggies to open Click Clock Wood without getting those, without doing the lighthouse thing, but it is hard. This will be pretty much a normal route because this level barely uses any eggs or feathers. Ah, I wasn't supposed to. I won't get the Mumbo tokens on the side here, but they're there if you need them for some reason. I'll add 2 onto the total at the end though, just to have it there. Oh, VDA, that sucks. I hate all the setup with new games. For these fans, you want your camera straight like this. And if it's not straight, you can duck and hold R and then turn around till it is. And then you want to run into it, it'll bounce you back, and then you want to roll into it and then jump. And I think the trick that made this more consistent for me is it's deceivingly late after your roll that you want to jump. I was jumping out of my roll too early and that's what made me miss it. So you basically want to hit the fan and then jump, almost. And this is a lot scarier because I've only got 5 health. So this is pretty good. I would go for it here, but you can like do your camera around. Hold R, hold Z, and then that's good for adjusting your camera. Doesn't need to be perfect, just to make sure you don't get bounced off to the side. And you're going in a straight line, so it's the quickest movement back through the fan. Don't get into talent trot there. It's very tempting and you'll still be in talent trot when you get out. But since you're in talent trot, you're technically facing backwards and then the camera screws up. I won't go too into depth on this because I don't actually have a good setup for it. But yeah. Engine ring clip. That's what you're supposed to do there. Damn. If you think you're going to run out of time, just grab the fan jiggy first. It's cutting it pretty close here. But it's alright. If you think you're going to run out of air, surface. And you can also grab air on this box, so if you just jump on it and then talon trot, should refill your air. Here it's another slope. Jump, flap, roll, jump, up. And there's an easier way to do it, but I wouldn't really recommend it because it's slower. What you could do is you could just jump, flap, roll, high jump, like that. That's the same concept as ticket skip with the slope timer and everything. So at any point from about like there you can jump, I think. I like to go to about there. Usually the route would do boombox here, but I have 5 health and I don't have eggs and I don't have gold feathers. So I'm not going to risk dying. Actually, technically I only have 3 health, but a 5 maximum, so I'm going to do that very last once I've got all 100 notes. That's not good to hear, dude. I thought since it was on Rare Replay, you'd just play it off a disc, though. Or am I not familiar with the new game stuff? You can get past those pretty easily on NTSC, but they're so hard to get past on PAL. So I have to pick them. It loses a fair bit of time. Those ones aren't too bad, but the ones right at the end with Snorkel are really bad on PAL. I've sort of a setup for the lifeboat jump here. There's like a really specific setup and I do roughly that. So you get right on the edge and you line up the top of that arrow with the left of the screen. And then you jump. I'll give it a go once, but I'm not going to guarantee I get it. Because I don't run enough 100%. So get right on the edge. Right on the edge. And if you're too specific with your camera setup, you just lose so much time that it's not worth going for lifeboat jump. So you have to be pretty rough with it. This room's a good one to be sort of safe in. You don't want to just go in too crazy with it. I'll see if I can do the thing. One more try. I like it. I like this method. It's pretty cool. Oh. And this is why that room is so dangerous, because those grill chompers do 2 health a pop. Digital version? No. I miss popping in a cartridge and playing it. Games these days. I remember trying to get Banjo on the Xbox 360, and like in the time that it took me to try and figure out how to get it, I could have finished Banjo on the N64. I guess there's a Mumbo token here. Although nobody's ever gotten that Mumbo token, ever. Camera angle facing this way causes less lag. But I think PAL actually has a bit more lag for this, so I'm more concerned about it. So if you're on PAL, these grill chompers are really, really hard to run past. If you're on NTSC, I'm jealous. The first set's alright on PAL, but when you try and run past them again, it's very difficult. As you can see. So while PAL is like 20 seconds faster for 100%, crap like that just makes it not really worth it in my opinion. And I'll be swapping to NTSC soon for 100%. But if you have PAL, you can get a pretty good time on PAL for 100%. And if you have PAL, you might as well just run any percent or Sandcastle percent. Alright, and I'll probably die to this. Alright. Normally you could skip this boss, but since I don't have eggs, I have to do it properly. And since I don't have gold feathers, it's going to be really hard. Oh, classic. Change your name only once. It's so dumb how you can only change your name once. And on Xbox I tried to have the 8-bit Beast, but apparently I already had another Xbox account with that I didn't know about, so I couldn't name it like that. And I had to be the 8-bit Beast with double E instead of EA. Whoops. No, thank you. Oh. Must have had global hotkeys on or something. Alright, so how many did I have before? 23 to 35, that's 12. 100 notes. I believe I got 10 jiggies. How many did I say? 12, and we got the witch switch. I better just check that I did get 10 jiggies. Yeah. Yeah, one day I'll get on the Xbox leaderboards and get a good time. Thought I'll show you this off if there's any PAL runners. You can do this on PAL only. Ground pound through there. I'm not sure if it's faster to get the ginger than the notes and use that or not, but I just do it the normal way when I do runs. jiggy. Alright. So I actually have 777 notes, so technically I could be done. FFM setup. So now all you'd do is you'd activate the yellow red cauldron, open that 765 door, and you'd be done. Or you could get the extra notes in Click Clock Wood if you have slightly less than 765, yet you still have 15 jiggies. If you're going to do that, you would have had to get the boggy jiggy and the vile jiggy. Maybe. Boggy jiggy, because I got two extra from TTC, yeah, so you would have had to get boggy and vile. But it's possible. And I think even if you fill the moat in Gobies, I think you can get the same amount of jiggies without flying. Because there are rings, but you don't have to do rings in flying. You just keep going into loading zones and getting it back in its original spot and then go through the ring. But I mean, it is kind of annoying to do rings without flying. "45-minute run." I'm so amazed that segmented Mumbo's mountain runs are actually quicker. Like coming back with the washing machine or something. Extra life in there if you want it for some reason. And we got exactly enough jiggies. So yeah, I got 2 extra from the Sandcastle and the Lighthouse in Treasure Trove Cove. And if you don't want to do the Lighthouse, you can replace those 2. You can get the boggy second race jiggy, which I could still get now, and you can get the vile jiggy, which I could still get now. So there's sort of 2 jiggies left over. And even if you accidentally fill the moat in Gobies, you probably still could get all the jiggies. You just have to do rings on foot, which you'd have to do for 100% anyway. Well, you don't have to do it for 100%, but it's quicker. I'm just going to get some notes and Click Clock Wood, make up my total to 810. I did a bad there. It's actually quicker to roll off that starting platform to the spring switch. And it would have been slower to talent drop there. Even though it seems a bit counterintuitive. So I got plenty of Mumbo tokens here. There's actually over 25 Mumbo tokens just in this level. So if for some reason you want the B, then you can get all those. There's another Mumbo token over by that house there as well. And there's also one up by Erie, and a couple more around the base. Oh! Wow. Yeah. That happens if you can cancel the full damage, but if you hit an enemy, it cancels that you cancelled the full damage and you die. I think you can actually flutter out of it, but I'm never quick enough to react. That's why I used to kill that guy in runs, but now I just accept the fact that the run might die there. You can jump around these beds too. I don't like to though. See, dude, I reckon you could get better times on the later levels, because I feel like everyone would just grind out Mumbo times and nobody would really care about the later ones. Mumbo token in there, but I'm not going to risk it because I don't have gold feathers. There's some notes over there, like over there too, but I don't want to risk those either. I'm going to do absolutely fine for notes though. It's going to be no issues there. 8-10 pretty easily. He had like 777 when I came in or something. Something like that. I think you can actually get all 100 notes in Click Clockwood without flight and eggs. Might be wrong about that though. If you can't get that jump, just high jump up there, but if you kind of hug the wall, it's a bit easier. Actually, I might talk about that a bit more, because it's in 100%, I don't think Smasher talked about it. So sometimes if you let your camera pan a bit more, it's good. So I think in 100% you grab the worm, so you can let it pan a bit and then set up your jump. But if you grab the wall, it usually works. Sometimes I still do the high jump. It's pretty inconsistent, but you gotta do it if you want to shave those frames off. The alternative obviously is you can high jump up there. I think some people like get here, then jump, then hold forward and don't use the wall. I don't think I've ever heard that far into the song before. But yeah, 100% gets that acorn. This is another slope manipulation. A lot of people like to stay on the slope for ages and then jump, but I jump pretty early off the slope and it works well for me. Two notes in here. Might as well get them. No, we don't grab the autumn mumbo skull notes in any percent or Sandcastle percent. But they seem pretty alright, I guess. It's just that they're so out of the way. Normally what we do is, like when I took a left to Mumbos, we would just keep going forward. And it is like 2 loading zones in a lot of time. So, pretty much every category you're going to have to do this clip. And there's like a bright spot there, like the top right corner. There's like a bright spot. So I have my camera roughly on this angle, and the angle like really helps with it. And then you just, in town shot, jump and hold forward. Now I'm going to be bad at this season because winter isn't in any percent. Oh well. I think there's some notes up here maybe. Yeah, there is. Oh. Actually, maybe you can still use the fly pads. Oh, full damage. Yeah. No, you can't use them. Maybe you can. No, you can't. That's alright. I don't really need these notes, but I might as well just do it. I think there's a Mumbo token in that beehive, maybe? Yeah, there is. That's not a bad Mumbo token, actually. The Mumbo token over there too. That fly pad doesn't work either. I don't think any of them do. Don't even need to go in there. Okay. Yeah, it's a good idea, video. If you had the ones in naughties, you can probably get the jiggy as well. But the 2 in naughties are actually kind of slow. Like the 4 in mumbos plus the 12 or something in winter. I think that'll be enough. Maybe there's more than 12 in winter. Yeah, there's like 16 in winter, maybe. And the other 6 notes, they're from the snare bears in autumn that I didn't want to grab. Now here you can just die and go to Furnace Sun, really. That'll be everything for the FFM setup that you need to do. I'll show you something that you can do if you're on power though. Yeah, that makes sense, video. I guess it is a lot of notes. So what could you substitute? You can get... There's like 2 in clankers that you could get. So yeah, this is PAL only. You can see my 80% tutorial for how to actually do this. But what you could do is not void out there like an idiot. What you could do is you could like open click clock wood first, then clip out, then do Rusty Bucket Bay and get notes from there. But you don't have to be the bee at all in FFM setup. I just transformed to the bee to show it off, and since I like the bee open on my files, but you don't need to be the bee at all. The only transformation you really need is the I guess the pumpkin and maybe the crocodile. Yeah, I think you need the crocodile for the 4 notes. Yeah, you do need crocodile because there's 10 notes that you can only get with the crocodile. So you definitely need the crocodile and you definitely need the pumpkin. You could probably skip the walrus for those 2 jiggies, but it's cutting it a bit close. Yeah, I'll have to dig out my old route video. That'd be interesting. So I'll just show you how to actually do the FFM glitch. So now we've got all the moves that we want. I don't have eggs, I don't have flying, and I don't have gold feathers. So that's everything that we want for this file to have. And I have all the moves except for those. The one that's probably easy to forget is Beak Bomb. Make sure you have Beak Bomb. And if you're not sure, just go and try and learn it anyway. To trigger the FFM glitch, we want 0 lives at this point. So just keep jumping off till you die. Some people like to try doing tile skips. I like to try doing Taz jumps. Like that. So you can jump out of your slide, but it's frame perfect. So you want 0 lives. And then you gotta get up to a minigame square. good idea to know your pattern number on this file, because you'll be doing a lot of grunty questions when you set it up. So if you know your Furnace Fun pattern, you can just put it into the calculator or remember the answers. You have two choices here. You could do this grunty question, or you could go to the left. Now obviously this is a bit quicker for your setup each time, but I actually like to go to the left, and that's because that way I get a bit more practice at these sound questions, and I like to skip it so that I don't hear it and try and guess it. But yeah, it's quick to do the grunty question. You get the Joker, you can skip that and go straight to a minigame. There's two minigames that you can't die in, which is the Sandcastle and Mr. Vile. But these minigames you can die in, like Boombox. You can die in the Turtle Choir minigame, but you have to ground pound the wrong turtles to do that. And that is how you actually trigger the FFM glitch. So once you've got it set up on this file, you don't have to do that whole run again. All you have to do is walk to Furnace Fun, preferably take the red cauldron, and just do what I did there. Lose all your lives down to 0 and then die in a minigame. And I think I might. I'll just show you what happens when you actually get the glitch. This game over cutscene, you can't skip it the first time you watch it, but you can after that. And if you're at 80%, you'll want eggs on this file. Also, with any percent, if you really don't like doing FFM setup, what you can do is you can get up to Click Clock Wood, and all you need to do that is 450 notes if you don't have flying. Yeah, all you need to do that is 450 notes, and then you can get up to Click Clock Wood, and then what you can do is set up another file that has all the moves, get up to Furnace Fun, and then what you do is you do RBA on the file that doesn't have eggs and flying, and then you do FFM by skipping the 765 note door, and then you transfer not having eggs and flying onto a new game. Normally you do runs on file 3. I'm just going to do this on file 1 for demonstration, but file 3 is the way to go for runs. File 1 should be a practice file. Hold start once the screen goes black every time you start a run. If you're doing 100%, you'll get honeycombs and stuff, but I'll just get into the lure. Now you still want to click B to bottles when you get into a run. Oh, you'll notice I don't have all the moves yet. I'm still rolling, I can't time try or anything. If you're on power, you won't be able to flutter cancel, but if you're on NTSC, if you tap really quickly, you can flutter and hit the ground, and then roll again straight away. So yeah, I don't have talent shot or anything. Once I go into the lair though, I still don't have talent shot. But there's two ways to get the moves. You could go back out and then you'd have the moves. But that's slow because that means you're adding 2 extra loading zones in there. And there's not much movement in this part anyway. So you don't want to go back out to get the moves unless you're on Xbox, where the loading zones are quick enough that it might be worth it. Just want to roll up here. Also, once you enter the lair, you want to skip the text that first comes up, otherwise it'll make the jiggy grab a little bit slower. Alright, so no moves yet. but as soon as you enter the first level, or exit the lair and enter it again, you got moves. So you got everything except for eggs flying and gold feathers. Talon trot, ground pound, deep bomb, wading boots, running shoes, shock spring. So basically everything you need. And yeah, the reason we don't get eggs flying and gold feathers is because of the refills. But in any percent you'd have eggs at this point, and Sandcastle percent. Okay, so yeah, just keep in mind that there's 3 choices for you to be able to do this. You've got Jinxie Clip, going into Click Lock Wood, or doing that lighthouse thing. And I could have got 2 more jiggies in this run. I could have got Mr. Vile, and I could have got the boggy jiggy with the banjo race, but I would have needed the running shoes for that. So I got 2 jiggies from going up to the lighthouse, but you can not get those 2 jiggies and get boggy and Mr. Vile and still make it into Click Lock Wood if you have to. So there are enough jiggies to do that if you have to. But if you get all the notes that I did, minus the ones on the lighthouse, and do Jinxie Clip, then you should have 765 notes and not have to go and Click Lock Wood even. So I had 777, and I got 9 more from going up on the lighthouse, so I would have had 766, and that would have been just enough. And I skipped the 640 note door, but you can just go through it. Those are my 3 choices because it's more about notes than it is about jiggies. Yeah, basically there's no other way to get there. So you either have to do Jinxie Clip, go up to the lighthouse, or go into Click Lock Wood. Okay, so I think that's all I really wanted to say about this. Again, I don't think that a whole video tutorial is really necessary for this, but it's hard to know which parts people are going to have trouble with, and it's all there if you need it. So thanks for watching the tutorial.